Hello Geo students, let's take a look at your Thunen activity. This tutorial should help you get started on it and give you a clear idea of what we're looking for as you complete the assignment. First thing we've done is we've shared with you a placemat, well, digital version of a placemat that you'd use in person if we were in person. The first page or the front side, slide 1, shows the state of Minnesota, and I'll zoom in a little bit on it. And you can see the interstate highways there. You can see Minneapolis, St. Paul, Mankato, Rochester, St. Cloud, Duluth, Moorhead, so some of our major cities. And you can see some of the waterways, the rivers as well. Over on these, you're simply seeing some landforms, some annual precipitation, some native vegetation, and annual frost-free days. I don't think we're going to need you to worry about looking at these too much, so you don't have to focus on them, but they are there for your reference if you want to look at them. The back side of the placemat, and this is what we'll use the most, we have 8 maps of different crops that are grown in Minnesota. And since we're looking at von Thunen's theory, we're going to be looking at what types of crops are grown in each county in Minnesota, or where are the greatest numbers of these crops grown. So for example, when you look at wheat, and we're only going to focus on the darkest county too. So when we look at wheat, you see this county here as being the greatest, and I guess these to a lesser scale. So just this northwestern portion of Minnesota. Here you can see soybeans, and with soybeans I would focus on the dark counties here, not worry about the second tier of green, maybe like we did with wheat. I only say that because wheat just had the one county. So you can see the same as corn. You've got a huge chunk of Minnesota grows a lot of corn. Hay, up just here and here. Beef cows. Maybe I'll leave the circles on there for you. Milk cows. Hogs and pig production. Turkey production. I'm going to leave these circles on there for you so you can refer back to them if you need them. And you could always pause the video here as you're doing your assignment if you want to see where I've circled. So what we're going to ask you to do is create a composite map. And so you got a blank version here with all the counties of Minnesota listed. And you can do this a couple of different ways. The directions for your assignment follow right after the map. It says on your Minnesota county map, show the location of the 8 agricultural products for which you have maps. That's the ones that are circled now. Each product is going to need a different symbol or color to signify it on this map that you're going to be creating. You need to be able to see a pattern of production, not every single place where each product is made. That's why we're focusing only on the darkest shaded counties for each product. You're also going to end up labeling where Minneapolis and St. Paul are, Duluth, St. Cloud, Mankato, Moorhead, and Rochester, so the major cities. We're also going to ask you to draw in and label the interstate highways, because they are not located on your map here, but you can certainly see where they are on this map and draw them in. The major railroad lines, let's see, did I provide those for you? If I did, you can draw them in. Oh yeah, sure. And I highlighted the major lines that we'd want you to locate, just this loop here through southern western Minnesota and the loop that goes from Minneapolis, St. Paul up to Fargo, Moorhead. So if you can draw those in, that would be helpful. You're going to find that they're probably going to be along some of the major highways too. There's a good chance of that. So use the railroad map. This is also a highway map. We used to have students do the US highways in addition to the interstates, but I decided to pull that and just focus on the interstates. That's good enough. So when you're creating your map, and let's show you an example of what I've seen students do, you could just simply come up with a key and create a key over here of your 8 products, and you could just do a colored dot, a different color representing the counties as you fill them out. Like for example, wheat could be a red dot, soybeans could be a green dot, corn could be an orange dot, hay could be brown, so on and so forth. A little more fun than that, I've seen students do this, and I think it's kind of fun to do this, is you could use emojis to represent those products. So for example, if I wanted to do beef cows, if I throw on my text option here, text box, I could certainly go and do an emoji and find an emoji of hey, there's a cow. So we got it, and now I can copy it too, so that way it's saved, and I could take this and move it. And I remember Winona County, my home county, was one for beef cows. So was Wabasha, the county north of it, Olmsted and Fillmore and Houston counties. Those are all in that part of the state. And so I should probably, oops, here's a key teaching point. When you want to make a paste that in, switch over from text box to your scissor tool, and then you can paste that image in, and then you could write in something like beef, right? So anywhere that has that as beef, and then I can paste it and put it in there, and let's see, there's another there. I'm not going to do every single one because I think you get the idea. I hope you get the idea. And if you find a county that has more than one product in it, that's fine. Just put whatever symbols you choose for that particular product. Make sure they can fit in that county. So you might have to resize it and make it a little bit smaller, but that's okay. So hopefully this gives you an idea of how you're creating this map then in terms of putting the symbols. When you complete your composite map then, you're going to want to look for a pattern that relates to Von Thunen. Right? Minneapolis and St. Paul here is the largest central city. It's the central city. It's the largest population center in Minnesota. So then if we follow Von Thunen's theory, what kind of gardening or farming should be occurring in that first ring around it? Which one should be occurring maybe in the second ring around it? Which one in the outer ring around it? And look and see if there's a pattern, and does that pattern that's established follow Von Thunen's theory? As you analyze your map, then after analyzing, we want you to look for that pattern and just write a quick paragraph. And we've already given you a template or kind of like a fill in the blank form. So as you are looking at it and saying, does Minnesota match Von Thunen's model of agriculture? It says, in comparing Minnesota maps to Von Thunen's theory from the notes, I find that, and you're just going to tell me, does Minnesota follow it or does it not? And then give me a reason why. So then, for example, the map about one of the 8 products shows that there's production in a second ring or a third ring outside of the central city. And then the second question for analysis is, using Weber's least cost theory, describe the best location or factory production point, remember this is from last week's development unit, of food processing plants in Minnesota for only one of the following examples. So either tell me where there could be a meat processing plant, where would be a good place for that. Do you want it to be close to where the meat farms are, or do you want it to be close to where the people are, right? Think about how expensive is it to transport meat? Does it require refrigeration? Are the products bulk gaining or bulk reducing? Right? Do they get bigger or smaller? So think about those things. Or you could do it for milk or dairy processing. Again, think of refrigeration if you choose that one. Or you could do ethanol an ethanol production plant where they're taking the corn and converting it into ethanol or fuel. The first part of the question is just restating what is Weber's least cost theory. So you might need to go back to Unit 3 notes, development notes, yeah. Development and industry notes. To answer that. And then you say, with in mind, the best location for whatever you chose there, one of those three, will be located, and then this would be a city in Minnesota, whatever city you choose. I would choose one of those options that is already on your map, so it limits the amount of choices you have to make. And then give me the reason why you think a plant would be, or factory would be good to be located there. So that is your assignment to work with von Thunen's theory. I wish you good luck. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions.